All right, we'll get started this morning. This is a regular scheduled Commissioners Court meeting, 9 o'clock. You'll please stand for prayer and pledge. Commissioner Ward.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we just unite our hearts this morning. Thank you for the beautiful rains that you have sent to us in the last couple of weeks. Thank you for the restoration of our land, our creeks and ponds and wells. Just give you thanksgiving for this bountiful gift. Lord, we lift up those today who are victims of the flood in the Kerrville Hill Country area, and Lord, for the we just lift up the folks who have lost loved ones, are suffering at this time, loss of property. Yes, your loving arms to surround them. Lord, we pray for your blessings upon our nation and our state and our county. May we just be in one nation under God that looks to you for our strength, our wisdom, and our knowledge. Yes, your blessings upon this meeting today. Of course, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting to order at 9:11. Noting Commissioner Ferrick's the only one not present this morning. We'll get into our item 3, departmental reports. Aging Center has a report that was attached for you today on the meals and so forth. County Attorney.
Nothing new, we're down.
How much rain y'all had this morning?
1 inch so far.
All right. And about 2 1/4 at the house and 3.75 at the weather ball. Polo said about 1.7 inches this morning at the pool. And we got a water leak that's leaking upstairs, coming into the ladies' bathroom downstairs for the boys' bathroom. They'll work on that. County Auditor this morning. Clerk. Community Center. Nothing to report there. Everything seems to be going okay there. Constable this morning. Here with Nutta. Detention Center. Warden.
So EDT is 423.
423.
Current count is 427.
Okay. Thanks, sir. EMC, he's out riding the roads this morning. Like I said, the only road closure right now is 1572 east of Spofford. And then there's some trash and water, a little bit of water on the, what would be the westbound lane, Highway 90 out there between the weather ball and George Roseland. Right in that little area right there. EMS, Nick.
So we just have our monthly report. We had 29 calls for the month of June. Out of the 29 calls, 18 were non-transports. We transported 11 of them. Out of the 11 we transported, 4 went to Uvalde, 6 went to Del Rio, and we flew 1 patient. We had no border-related calls last month, and we did have 3 second calls last month. Any questions?
Dick, explain again. If I call 911, and what's the rule or whatever for whether I go to Del Rio or Uvalde?
So
explain that to us again.
yeah, so in a true emergency, we need to go to the closest facility. Okay, because it puts us and the county in a legal liability if we go to a further away facility. Del Rio is the closest facility, especially if it's something cardiac related, because Del Rio has a cath lab that's staffed a majority of the time. Uvalde does not. So if we take a cardiac patient, if we have a patient that's having a cardiac event and they want to go to Uvalde, we'll try to persuade them to go to Del Rio, but we take them to Uvalde, that could hinder their outcome because they don't have the treatment that they need there. If we ever come across a patient that's truly insistent on going somewhere, we will try to accommodate. What we may do is have them sign a refusal, just saying, not that they're refusing to be transported, just that they're refusing to go to the closest facility, because then that covers us on our.
Okay.
Any further questions on that?
Is there something they can put on file with you beforehand that lets you know if they want to go to Uvalde versus Del Rio? I get this question quite a bit.
I mean, you could potentially do that, but the only problem with that is when they call, that would take time for us to look it up at that moment. Like if we have 100 people that put in that request, each time they call, especially if we're on scene, they say, hey, we filled this piece of paper out saying, I only want to go to Uvalde, then at that moment, it's going to take away from their patient care for us to look and make sure they have that.
Sure. Well, I got quizzed. I got asked about it again the other day. It's like, well, in Bracketville, the closest facility is Del Rio.
Yes.
In a cardiac situation, Del Rio's in your favor because they could help you there in Del Rio. Uvalde, they still got a lot of flights to San Antonio.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you.
No,
It is what it is, but
you're welcome.
grant updates. Morning. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Westbrook.
Okay, the grant Operation Stone Garden. The April financial status report was submitted in May, 22 May. It was not sent to the budgeting or to for pay. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. But we have not received that payment for April. And when I talked to my point of contact at the governor's office, he said it was because of the FEMA grants being held up. People were being late. So the May has not been submitted for Operation Stone Garden because it cannot submit it until it's reopened for it to submit since April has not been received. So I'll follow up on that again today. The school resource officer, that is on track. The one for April's been received, May's been received, and the one for May was approved. So that money should be showing up, if not today, by next week.
Okay.
And that was $6,446.71. On the current OLS grant, thanks to your office, you opened that up last Thursday, I believe, for me to begin entering the information. That is our current grant. I entered all of the personnel costs from 1 December through 31 June. The personnel cost for salaries is $609,807. So that is entered. I am now entering all of the vendor information, and that is all invoices, the dates.
Yes,
That would be BCC, the contractors, the attorneys, etc. I hope to have that completed no later than Wednesday noon or close of business Wednesday. And I'm going to let the auditor know to then start reviewing it because that is due, that a quarterly requirement. Well, they all are, but it has to be submitted by the 22nd. So if I have it in by the 16th, then that will give our auditor time to review it to actually submit it.
Okay.
I estimate that the amount that will be submitted for will be close to $1.7 million.
Okay,
Okay. There is nothing has been received on the upcoming OLS grant, and that begins the 1st of September. So we have 2 more months, July and August, on the current grant.
okay,
I would recommend to all the departments that need supplies related to OLS, ink, that type of, for their copies, etc., that they get those ordered before or by the end of the month. And I will send out an email to everybody to remind them. That way we get the invoices back in and we can get it out.
yes, ma'am. Okay,
I believe that is it. I have not sent out the contract for people to sign for next round, and that is based on what we end up with for our grant.
Yeah.
We don't know.
yes, ma'am.
So that's all I have today.
Okay, still nothing back. We haven't seen anything or heard anything on the audit report, correct?
No, and we met with them, if you remember, that was the 6th of June. And we have not heard since then. And that was the 6th of June that we had the Zoom call meeting with them.
Okay,
But we haven't heard anything back on that.
all right, because they told us there it'd be like 10 days till we should have another report.
Yeah, they said a couple of weeks. It's supposed to be 2 weeks, but we have not heard anything back from them at all.
Okay,
All right, that's it.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Westbrook.
You're welcome.
All right, Engine Healthcare, that's attached. Report from Becky's attached for you this morning. Where we are there, Engine Healthcare expenses. My office is attached for the month of June. Community center contract certificates of compliance. No sewer stuff for the month. Justice of the Peace, Judge Villarreal provided a report this morning for her month of June. The library's provided a report for the month for May and June. Road and Bridge has provided their monthly report for June. Sheriff, tax assessor, county treasurer. All right, they'll take care of reports. We'll go into number 4 this morning, deliberate and consider action on the following items. I'd like to recognize Kinney County EMS on a recent cardiac call. Dick, received some information on this.
So on the morning of June 30th, our crews received a call for a patient having chest pain. They got there, performed their evaluation, determined he was actively having a MI. Our crews, they called Del Rio to see if their cath lab was available. It was not available at that time. They determined the patient needed to be flown. They called AirVat. The patient ended up being flown to Westover Hills in San Antonio. The patient ended up having 100% left anterior descending block in his heart. So basically, the blood vessel on his left side of his heart was 100%. So in our field, we have a name for that type of block. It's called a widowmaker because it has an extremely high mortality. We did get some feedback from the facility, which we all don't get a lot of time, so that's why I wanted to share it with y'all to kind of the point we made earlier about between Uvalde and Del Rio with the patient having a cardiac event. If we would take something like this to Uvalde, that will make a difference in the outcome. So we have a video before they did the stent. So you can see when she plays it, how it's 100% blocked. You can see the block right there in the middle of your screen. So everything below that is not getting any blood. So that, like I said, that whole left side of the heart, which the left side of the heart is the side of the heart that pumps blood throughout your body. So that's a very important part of your, I mean, all the heart's important, but that is extremely critical. And if you go to the after one, after they did the procedure, you can see how they put a stent in, and now, yeah, it's night and day from what it was before and after. So through the quick actions of our crews, getting there, doing their assessment, seeing the patient was having an active MI, having that forethought to call Del Rio to see if their cath lab was available, which it wasn't, and they made the choice to fly the patient to see it. So,
We all did a great job.
well, thank you.
Very good.
Any questions about anything?
No, we just,
Well, this goes along with their explanation of why patients are sent to Del Rio, especially under these circumstances.
Yes, sir. Because like I said, if we would take a patient like this to Uvalde, they don't have the services there to treat it. So they're going to be sitting in that ER for 2-3 hours, just depending on how quickly they can find a facility in San Antonio to accept them and then arrange transport with the EMS service there. So I know, I mean, I get it, it upsets patients some of the time and they want to go to Uvalde, but ultimately, the reason we try to persuade them to go to Del Rio, especially if it's cardiac, is because we do have their best interest. We don't want to take them to a facility where it's going to be a delay in definitive care.
Well, we just extend our appreciation to
Yep.
Disapprove.
Yep.
Their,
Will do. I did, one of them's working today, but they're on call right now. So I would have him come. And thank you all for all y'all do for us too, and the support y'all give us.
all right. Thank you. Item B this morning is the countywide burn ban, which is back on here. And we'll take no action on it, obviously, today. We'll monitor that and see, but no action on item B. Item C, discuss and approve interlocal agreement with Nueces River Authority, including Kinney County and the Texas Water Development Board Flood Infrastructure Fund, Nueces River Basin Study. It includes Kinney County, Nueces Watershed, and the floodplain map update, high hazard dam risk assessment, low water crossing prioritization, and early flood warning systems. Cost not to exceed $166,380. Be on a 10-year payment option with 0% interest, which will come out to approximately $16,638 per year for county's cost to participate in the study. I'll turn that over to.
So good morning, everybody. This is Travis Prusky with the Nueces River Authority. He wanted to be here today to help clear up any questions you might have or all the information about the grant that NRA has received from Texas Water Development Board for the Nueces River Basin and what all that includes
Sure.
and how it affects Kinney County especially.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me. I know Mason visited with you guys a couple weeks back to talk a little bit about the project. I can start over from scratch or answer questions or y'all want me to proceed with this today. But in general, half the county falls into our flood basin, and it's the Region 13, the flood planning group. One of the first things we noticed when we started this project is the lack of data, not just your county, but the majority of the counties we work with. So we applied for a grant. We received, it was a 75% grant, 25% match for the counties. And it's going to do quite a few things. We're going to map the portion on the back that shows you what portion falls inside the our basin. It'll get mapped down to the 6-inch level. Then flood models will be put on those maps so that we can identify all the low water crossings, any possible solutions to those types of things. We also include a flood early warning system to go with that project so that we can, I mean, everyone knows what happened last week, how important flood warning systems are. We'll be looking at the low water crossings, like I said, and then the high hazard dams that you guys have 3 here in the county in our portion. It is a 75% grant. It is 10-year 0 interest. So y'all's total is $166,000. So that would be $16,000 a year for the next 10 years to participate in this project. Being at the top of the flood basin, we anticipate if y'all agree to do this, you'll be completed by next year. You'll be one of the first groups to be done, and you'll have all of your work done and your maps included. And then with these maps, they are FEMA. They'll be FEMA not FEMA approved, they'll be FEMA adjacent so that you can actually adopt them as your new FEMA maps. And then we will turn them into FEMA for them to officially adopt them. It takes FEMA about 8 years to do that. So that you don't have to wait 8 years for FEMA to adopt those new maps. Those maps can be y'all's new flood maps for that part of the county. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have about this project.
Travis, did you say 8 years for that? For FEMA to adopt?
It takes about 8 years for FEMA to go through the process of adopting it, but you don't have to wait that long because they are all approved by all the standards. You can adopt them pending FEMA approval, and then we'll turn them into FEMA for them to adopt it. It takes them too long, but the process is for you to adopt those maps now. You don't have to wait for FEMA to approve them.
So it's a 10-year plan, right?
It's a 10-year payout. Your part of the project, you'll be done by the end of 2026. Kinney County will be complete, but you'll have 10 years to pay off the money that you owe. And your interlocal agreement is with us. You don't have to do any extra grant writing or any work with the Water Development Board. It's going to be an interlocal between us. Your payment is to us, and that's it. You don't have to worry about any other bonding, any other additional paperwork, anything like that. It's all handled through the River Authority. This is a really good project. We were the only region to apply for this grant. And regionally, actually, they gave about half of the flood money last year. Their goal with the Water Development Board is for this to become a standard so that the other half, which is the middle Rio Grande area, that's region 15, is for them to hopefully come and follow suit and do the same projects. You get the other half of the county done. So this isn't like a first step or you're not gonna get the rest of the county done. We see this as the potential to move forward to next year too, coming back and getting the rest of the county completed as well through this process. And we'll be working with Region 15 to hopefully get them to do that.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is we're the only ones that are attempting this, but the Water Development Board wants this to succeed. That's why they gave us so much free money, and so that the other entities will follow suit and do the same thing in the rest of the counties, which again, half of your counties not in our region, unfortunately.
So the Kinney County plan will basically, and not to hold you to anything, but a year before you would have a plan for.
Since you're at the top of the watershed, you're going to be done first. So we expect the whole work to be done in 2 months. I mean, in 2 years. And so obviously we believe we're going to start. Water Development Board should give us the okay sometime in January or February of 26. You'll be first. So I would imagine by summer or fall, you'll have everything complete. We'll have host several public hearings with staff to go over the process and look at we're not just going to do it. We're going to include y'all in the what we're looking at and helping us identify special problem areas. If you have flood problem areas, we'll actually identify those in the flood plan. They'll called an FMP so that you can actually apply for state funds for funding to fix those projects. All that will be included in that process and completed by the early year, which means you'll be in the next flood planning cycle. And if you're familiar with, everyone knows what happened last week, but a lot of money is going to get going into flood in the next the special session coming up. So that give you opportunity to do some of the improvements that you need to do in the county, hopefully.
Maybe premature, but do you have a vision of what type of projects Kinney County be eligible for?
Well, first, just looking at it from the 6,000 view is the low water crossing there as you have. I just came down Highway 90 from Uvalde, and the water was already starting to cross the road right by the new DPS, not DPS office, but the Border Patrol agency. So those types of things is how to prevent that from people in the low water crossing. That would be the first step, is to identify those types of areas so that that doesn't happen. Obviously, that's the first thing, but we would want to talk with your staff and the community to know, are there other problem areas that we can't see from that 60,000 foot view that need to be addressed? And we will make those projects available. So it's really a lot dependent on you guys helping us tell us where we need to go identify other extra areas. But the low water crossings would be the first one. Like I said, I literally just ran into that problem this morning.
Which is your bad thing.
I'm not gonna keep raining, you know. I don't want to stop the rain. I was gonna make it safe for everybody.
How vital or critical is it that, since we're the start of the west prong, obviously, basically almost in its watershed of the west prong headed towards the Nueces, like, how critical is our data gathering and so forth to the Uvalde County? What's like Uvalde County's got to be in this too. I mean,
Yeah, so we have
got to have 100% participation in order for this thing to go, or
we don't have to have 100% participation because we're going to map the model, the main water flow, but to get the best data is to do the countywide 6-inch mapping and modeling with that. So we each county is independent, but the flow from the counties above it obviously affects the water. And the best for us to make the best science, the best data to move this thing, I mean, to help everybody out, you got to, we hope to get 100% participation. I believe we just started this process about 6 weeks ago, and I think we have 15 counties already have signed on, and the other ones we're working on going through commissioners courts, doing those types of things. So we believe when it's all said and done, we'll have 100% participation, and no one likes to use a tragedy, but after what happened last week, the importance of the flood mapping and the early warning system is pretty apparent that it's something we need to do as a community, and we all need to put in our share. Now, I will tell you that the money is different valuated. So y'all did the 166,000, like Valdez is, I think it's 450,000. I think Medina was 375. So it's not based, y'all aren't paying a shame. You're paying a share based on your square footage of your county and all that kind of stuff, but it's not, we're not just equally spreading the money out to everyone. It's based on how much of the county you have, or, land mass, those types of things.
Question comes to mind about the eligibility of what we describe as the lower populated areas, such as Kinney County. And then you've got an impact area to the east that obviously impacts more population. And that brings us to the thought of how is the money going to be divided? Would it be just competitive, one county versus the other county, and eventually the one that gets funded?
Are you talking about for the actual funding of the projects to build something? That's done at the state level. I will tell you that having your county mapped automatically adds 10 points to your score. So whenever you go through the scoring process, it's called the Flood Infrastructure Fund. They it's a 100 to 110 points. Well, just having your county actually mapped already puts you 10 points above 99% of the counties out there in the state of Texas. You are competing with other ones, but doing this process, we've done this, and so we were ranked 1 through 5 on this project. So there was 202 applications that applied for funding. We got the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth rank. So we know how to work the projects to maximize the possibility to get your scoring. I can't promise you we're going to get you funded on anything, but we know how to work the math to make it work as most beneficial as possible. And that would be our goal. I know working with your grant team here, they know how important that is. And so we're going to do it. I won't promise anything. I mean, I can't, but I will tell you, we'll do everything to maximize the possibility. And I see we worked at a project down in Nueces, Jim Wells, and Clayburgh County. It was a tri-county study because one county affects the other. And we got a big grant on the flood project there that affected 3 counties. So that might be a similar process here with Edwards, Kinney, and Uvalde down the road. But we need to look at the project. But the first thing is we can't start if we don't have any data and we don't have any maps done.
And realizing it's certainly preliminary and early, but I think, great concern I had, maybe some of the others share it, is what is there all what formula, out there eventually that will determine and prioritize funding.
There are, and I'm actually on the committees that help formulate these projects. So I will do my best to, when you do your projects, to give you the best chance of getting them scored. I mean, the ladies here know we work on a lot of projects together here, and getting the mapping is the jump that you're gonna make on above other counties trying to apply for money is going to be huge, because 99% of the counties don't have this done. I think there were 202 applications. There was, I think, about 60 counties applied for this grant. They only funded 10 of them, but they funded all 31 in ours because we did this as a regional group, and they gave us the max amount of grant funds, and we were top awarded one. And so 31 counties have a chance to have this done because of this through the process, and that's how we always maximize to hopefully get you funding down the road. And in another couple of weeks, I'll be in Austin, because they're going to start the new special session. They're going to start the preliminary stuff on talking about flood funding, because we were up there talking about how important this early warning system and getting this flood modeling data needs to be done. So.
I trust you realize these are fair questions.
No, absolutely. I ask questions. Absolutely.
And I was just looking at the map, and you see all the tributaries that are outlined to the east, and they are, substantial, and do encompass a whole lot more area than Kinney. And so that's what kind of stimulated my questions about, what potentially could we do here, and what we describe in competition with counties to the east, is that going to be,
What we've learned through this process is not to be in competition with, it's to do projects that can help multiple counties and your chances of getting funded better. So we would look at that to what best benefits Kinney, Uvalde, Edwards together to get a group project. That we had originally the tri-county study was done in Nueces, Clayburgh, and Jim Wells. And then this project is that the state shows that if you try to work as a group rather than individually, you're going to, odds of getting awarded are better. And we got 75%. Majority of the grants got 30, 40, maybe 50% if they were lucky. We got 75% because we were trying to tackle this as a whole, not as just one county doing this. There was a bunch of counties that applied individually for the same, they didn't get the grants.
Total number of dams is 3. What are the 3 dams we're talking about?
I don't have that data off the top of my head. I know I have the mapping of where the low water crossings are, but there are 3 historical high hazard dams that were built. Most of them were built probably in the 30s, 40s, and 50s to hold back water on ranches, things like that. We want to do inspection of those dams included in this, because if one of those dams were to fail through a large rain event, it would obviously cause huge issues for someone down them. So part of the project would be we would be inspecting those dams, or if there's other dams that we are unaware of, we could add them. We could add extra dams to that. I probably don't have them on my map. I apologize. I think there's about 2,000 high hazard dams in the whole basin. So I don't know. I don't remember what y'all's 3 are. I apologize, but we do have those mapped.
So Travis, are those for sure in the Nueces River
Yes.
Basin.
This is just the Region 13 Nueces Basin, correct?
The only things that we've seen that are high hazard are these that are on Los Morris. So if there's more, that's, yeah.
And there's always more. Like I said, we've got a couple thousand in the total basin, and we anticipate there's probably another thousand more that we're unaware of. People built dams 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, massive dams. And they do, we have concern over there. We were working in Duval County that there were holes this big in the dams already, and one big rain event could have washed it out, and that would have greatly affected the city of Freer if we wouldn't have looked at those. So that's what we're trying to do through this process. It's an all over encompassing look of all things flood related on that portion of the county is what we're trying to accomplish through this. I mean, we might miss something obviously, but we would anticipate 3 to 6 meetings that we have budgeted with county officials, city officials, folks to talk about flood projects, and we try not to miss anything through this. The mapping is going to be huge. It's going to tell us so much information, tell y'all so much information. And then you guys have this map. It's your map when we're done. It'll be yours.
In clarification, I think it's important for us to, from the get-go, to realize the city of Brackett, Fort Clark, and Spofford all lay to the west into the Rio Grande, plans. And so what we'd be talking about would be areas further to the east. We do have 2 watershed dams, which I'm sure you're aware of, just north of town, but those would also fall to the Rio Grande side.
I look at that as there's 2 pieces to that puzzle for the west side. Is that again, we're the first river authority group to try to do this. Is then we will then encourage you with development board for Region 15, because I know we've worked with Candy and Alma on Region 15 stuff a lot of times to get them to do the same type of project. I will tell you that if you have an opportunity to do something and you don't, the next time an opportunity comes up, your name might not be on the list. They're going to say, well, we gave you an opportunity to do some and you didn't want to do. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Is we want to work with Region 15 to get the other part done, but you have to show the willingness that you guys are going to participate as well. I mean, if that makes sense.
So you're saying commercial ordinance, probably this line is like Elm Creek? I'm thinking probably this line. Yeah, this line is about Elm Creek.
Is also in the Nueces.
Elm Creek is?
Lindsay and Elm.
The Lindsay Creek pretty much is the line.
I think it's right
Yeah,
there.
Lindsay Creek.
The hill is right here. That separates the 2 valleys.
Yeah,
That's
it is. It's just that one creek.
Yeah.
And
So this line splitting the counties about Elm
And
Creek.
then the other comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the odd thing is the west side of Lost Marsh Mountain goes to Rio Grande, the east side goes to the west. Isn't that odd? So, yeah, it's right on the divide.
It's funny how that works. Actually, in Edwards County, the courthouse is actually the center. So you could actually go to this line and that half goes to the Nueces and that half goes to Guadalupe. That happens often, but that's the way it works. But I will tell you, we will work hard with Region 15. I mean, the ladies know that we've been working with them on other projects already for y'all, for Region 15 to get them to do this as well for the other half of the county. The first step is showing us that this is a successful project the first time before they're going to pay for it again. Overall, it's about a $31 million grant they're giving us for this. So the 166,000, I know it's a lot for your county, but that's a small price to pay to get that much funding for the region.
Tell us one more time how much that was. The funding.
It's a little over 30 million is the total grant for the whole river basin. Yeah, I mean, you can see the map there, how big a basin is, but every county affects every county. I mean, the water doesn't just stop at your county line. whatever happens in Edwards County is going to affect you guys on that northern portion as well.
Moving forward, I think it's just having mapping is going to be key to getting funding in the future.
Like with any grants, we have to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
No, it is.
So eventually, are we gonna be able to approach the Rio Grande, for, potential funding for when we talk about City of Brackett or far?
I will be quite honest with you, as soon as we get all of the counties wrapped up and we're moving forward next spring, I'm gonna be politicking really hard with.
You're not involved.
I'm not, but I am. So I'm one of the flood plan managers for the state. I'm on the committee that helps find flooding funding. Unfortunately, I was in there several months ago telling the state we have some flood issues in our early warning system and our mapping program. And they've already called me back to come back and speak again. And so I will use that influence to push Region 15. And the ladies know that we have a relationship with 15 on a lot of other projects that they've been trying to get some grant funding for. And we will do everything in our power to hopefully get that moving forward for y'all on that other half of the county.
Travis sent all of our information down to the lower, region 15, and we've been following up with Ines Hamasat, who is the lead there. And we just sent him an email and said we would like to update the commissioners on Monday. I just checked my email. I haven't heard back, but I'm sure they'll get back with us.
They have an engineering company like y'all do that works with you to map the area. They're HAL, HAL, and they've been very responsive too. We visited with them as well. And they said, at this time, we are not planning to do that, but I'm hoping after y'all have, and that was before y'all had gotten this grant. And I'm hoping that with your help pushing things
I
forward,
think after
it will be
we go to special session, we're going to be talking about a lot of areas, including they're going to talk about what we're trying to accomplish and why isn't the rest of the groups and talk about funding for that. So I see it in the future. I can't promise it'll be a year, 2 years from now, but I will do everything in my power to push that forward. And the ladies know that.
Yeah.
I
Previously, we visited about this, there was a crossing on 1572. Horn Market Road.
Mhm.
That's the one that goes from approximately 14 miles east of town, takes off and goes to Spofford. It's closed. It's a judge announced this morning. But that's next up. You will.
all this information will be given to TxDOT as well for them to make better decisions. One thing, TxDOT, so the way your flood mapping work now, so your FEMA maps are only based on the actual river being basin and within a few hundred feet of that. It doesn't map rain flows outside of the rest of the county. So when people have their FEMA maps, it's really 3-4% of the county is actually been studied in the map. And but those studies have been, I'll say theoretical. Technology today, we're going to be using satellites. We're going to go down to 6 inches. I mean, you couldn't do that when they make these maps. Well, FEMA is using that information, and so they're not. I mean, not FEMA. TxDOT is using that information. I'm not saying they're not doing a great job, but they're using the information that they are given. This is going to give them better information, so when they do TxDOT improvements, do things, they'll have better information to next time, not cause another problem somewhere else because you just don't know. If you don't have the data, you can't make. TxDOT can't make right decisions. FEMA you can't make right decisions. So that's what this mapping will do.
So your funds potentially can be used to augment what TxDOT might do, or
Well, no, the TxDOT will have, so when you adopt these maps, then TxDOT has to use these. And so we're going to have flood models. They're going to be computer generated. They can actually grab these flood models. And so when they put a new road crossing in or do whatever, they'll have better information to make a better road down the way versus their limited information that we have now. I mean, they only can look at what they use now. They look at a very limited piece. They don't see the 100 miles of water that's flowing towards that piece. They make the best information decision they can with the information they have. But in our process of going through this, the information is not great. We need to do a much better job of that information, and that's what this project is going to do, is give you that exact information. And then one of these other beneficial is that it's all computer aided. It's going to be the modeling and mapping is that way. If you have new developments, anything that happens out there, it can automatically be updated, and you automatically update your maps. You don't. So a big well field comes in there, or they put a 1,000-acre solar farm out there. Something like that happens. You can automatically plug that information into the system that we already had that we created for y'all, and you've updated your map automatically. So you have so you do a big one of those solar farms, they're going to divert thousands and thousands of acre feet of water to a rain event because of that. Well, now you can automatically fix that, not wait for the next grant to come through to do that. If that makes sense.
So your scope will be planning only, or will you follow through applications and?
We'll follow through with anything the county needs. The ladies know that. I don't know, we talk on multiple grants all the time. They're grabbing information.
Your scope only, or if you kind of assist and, you know,
Absolutely. I mean,
their efforts.
I'll let Candy and Alma speak for that, but I mean, and even in areas that's not in our area, I've helped
Yes.
on other projects. So any kind of this information, yeah, I'm here to help.
But the benefit of this is like we get current with what's changed now. We get current, but then we can basically through AI, through the mapping of what you got, then if something changes for us, some catastrophic event or something happens, then hey, all of a sudden now this water is diverted, or we're going to retain this water to take it. We can update the maps.
Correct.
And then that's something that y'all, the river authority, can implement. And
Can help y'all with. Or if something happens in Edwards County and we have updated their maps, then that'll update your maps. Like all that can be, it's your honestly, your flood maps now are paper flood maps. There's no models. All that will be that digital. And so it can be updated very easily. Or you do have a solar farm or something comes up, some changes, you can automatically adapt that. We do working on another grant right now with the GLO to go with our early warning system is to do AI that, and the AI system will tie in with our flood modeling, with the mapping, with weather stations and all of these things. So it actually give real-time information of, oh, it rained 6 inches here. It's going to be here in 3 hours. That's another grant we're working on right now to keep making improvements. That grant will hopefully be started in a year from now, but we're going to keep working on those type of projects. But once you have this information, we can just keep adding it to any project, anything we do as a river authority or county project shall want to move forward with. And we want to set an example so then the rest of the county can get what they need done too.
And the river authorities, we want them to make that decision for Region 15 as well. To do those things. So then the whole county is mapped and it is kept up to date and in process all the time, where when there are changes like you're talking about, they're automatically done.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? All right, thank you, Travis. Thanks for coming in and visiting with us again. Today we kind of tabled this last discussion to last commissioners court meeting to talk about this again and the MOU and stuff. If we do approve it and go forward with it, y'all will draft that out for us and everything. We can get that on the next.
Yeah, I have a copy in for the ladies, like if we have any amendments to it. So yeah, we just would need y'all's approval to accept that interlocal. And then have it signed and then we'll get it signed back. We wanted to make sure that y'all were aware, so y'all are starting your budget cycle.
Yes.
You're aware of that. The first payment wouldn't be till 2026, so you don't have to pay right away. It's in January 26 when you'll need to make that first $16,000 payment.
Okay.
And that goes through y'all, you said, or y'all?
Yes, the interlocal will be with us. So the River Authority has agreed to take out so there's a $7 million loan that the River Authority is taking out with the development board. And our interlocal with you guys is going to be cover the debt of that loan that we're taking out. So your payment will be to us. We will collect payments from all the 31 counties and then make that payment into the state.
All right.
That's how the processes will work.
Okay.
Until there's no extra grant fund, you don't have to worry about paying bills or anything like that.
Yeah. I just didn't know if it was going to water development board or.
It's coming to River Authority. Yeah, we're going to observe
Y'all
it.
need a fiscal agency. Okay.
All right, Commissioner Topple, you have anything? Commissioner Dotson? Commissioner Ward? All right. I entertain a motion to approve or disapprove the interlocal agreement with the Nueces River Authority. Item C, for this study to be done, the Nueces River Basin study. Cost not to exceed $166,380, 10-year payout, which comes out to $16,638 a year. Entertain a motion to approve or disapprove. What do y'all want to do? Want to table it till the next meeting, which would be when? Becky? Think about it, because we're right in the middle of budget right now, talking about budget and everything. This obviously have to be talk with and budget stuff. But do you want to table it to the 28th and make a decision on the 28th? Or you want to take action on it today?
What would benefit your budget efforts?
Probably waiting till the 28th. If we table it to the 28th, because we just finished our budget workshops last week and stuff, and the preliminary numbers are pretty big, so we're going to have to do some trimming and some discussing, cussing and discussing, probably more likely. But is the 28th okay with y'all's timeline?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, but yeah, preliminary budget numbers are pretty big.
You say scared?
I wouldn't say scary, but I mean, when you throw in the Little League action, the Little League work project, the Peterson building, and the ambulance, those are pretty big expense items that we can potentially get some money for. We can, but if we don't budget for it, then we don't have it. But if we could get it, yeah. So we're kind of in catch-22 on that. I say we table it till the 28th, and then we can talk some about budget stuff and everything across the county, really. I mean, across the board, really, budget stuff and everything. But I think it's something we definitely need to consider.
Well, it's worthy of consideration.
Yes, because of the age of it, but then just getting it where it is more of a electronic version of the flood control, where it can be, models can be tested, or things can be put in, or changes can be inputted and stuff, and getting it more move forward,
yeah,
into just the common era we're in and so forth. So update on a regular basis, and I keep it updated more on an annual basis rather than a century basis kind of deal. So I'll make the motion to table it to the 28th. Second by Commissioner Ward. To table to the 28th for action then. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it.
And you don't have to be back here for that. I mean, don't mark your calendar for us on that.
No worries. I know we got another project. Me or Philip might be in town anyway that day.
Okay.
Finishing up that other project. Thank y'all, ladies.
Thank you. Be careful on the road. All right, item D, this morning, we approved the road use agreement pending legal counsel and what so forth. We did get that back from Mr. Briscoe and from Cairos for road use agreement out there on their project, this would be George Rose Lane and so forth. And pulled it out of your abatement agreements and made it a standalone agreement like we talked about and everything. So I do have that this morning just to accept and sign. We approved it last Commissioners Court meeting, so we'll hand this around this morning to get signatures and so forth on it before you leave. So Entertain a motion to accept the road use agreement as presented by the legal counsel for the county between Kinney County and Cairos Solar LLC. So we'll accept that. So Commissioner Matavo, second by Commissioner Dotson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously to accept the road use agreement. So before y'all leave this morning, after the Commissioner's Court, when he gets signatures on that. Item E is discuss and approve interlocal cooperative agreement between STRAC and Kinney County Fire Department for electronic records management system. Where'd Philip go? Where'd he go?
Talking with them.
Oh, okay.
Basically what image trend is maybe the charting system they use to document when they get a call. It's what we use with EMS. Very easy system to use. One of the things I like about it is they can kind of customize it to your needs. So for us, I've gone in there and asked them to add a couple of things like the variants. Can you put a drop down that we can check if we use the variants, or it's a border related call? So for fire, that's what they would use for their records. And it meets all the requirements they have to have to report. So I'm not sure what they are, but I sit in on image train meetings, and when it comes to the fire part, I know they said that the report will check all the boxes for all their reporting requirements.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but being familiar with the method of reporting and the records for the fire end of it, they're not real user friendly, and I wonder, is this going to be what we describe as a little more user friendly? It's very time consuming to report any type of fire, and is this going to?
I can't speak on the fire end. I can speak on the EMS side. For us, this is a lot better than the system we use before. Like I said, I've sat in on meetings with them where they've talked about the fire stuff, and none of the fire organizations have had any major concerns. They pretty much, the ease of use is a lot better than what they were using.
Well, we know how important the reporting system is because your funding account for grants is tied to that. And that's why we have tried to keep current with and it is the National Institute of Recording System.
That was the one I was looking
It's the one, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then all of this, I suppose, fits in with NIMS as well. I just, not to put you on the spot, but I know that's been a problem through the years, is the difficulty and the time-consuming, repetitious questions that you have to.
From what I've gathered when I've been on meetings is it would be similar to us when we do our reports. Like you have an incident and then you get into that each
We and then I'll be quiet. But we had the problem with qualifying for the paper grant and had to bring our records up to date for a year, which were considerable. It was considerable time invested in that, and we ended up securing some help from the fire marshal in the city of Eagle Pass. He had staff that and they were very kind to help us to get all of our records brought current. So just wanted to throw that out.
And the good thing about them too is they store the data for us. That's part of what our yearly fee is to them. So they store all the data. They're responsible for all the security side of it. So for us, it's been a really easier for me.
So STRAC is assisting with this?
Yes. So it's image trend. It will be stored on STRAC because STRAC is our preferred, our medical people we go to. And since there's so many medical agencies that also do fire, that's why image trend is going through STRAC as well, because they already have the foundation side of the house. So for the agencies that are dual, it's easy.
And some of Candy just came back and they're familiar with what we had to do to bring our records up to date for.
This should be done, I mean, don't quote me on it, but it should be a lot easier. I know, like for me, with our reports and stuff, if I ever need a data mine or do anything in there, there's a menu I can go into and just formulate it to how whatever data I need to extract, and it'll pop it right out, as opposed to, back in the day, you would have to go through each individual report. Data mining with image trends should be a lot easier.
For the benefit of everyone, STRAC is the regional coordinator of emergency response. And in the event of what we describe or to any kind of mass hazard, they coordinate all the response surrounding areas. So they encourage, for instance, Kinney County to be a part of that, and they do fund us annually as well. So it is so
like
very beneficial.
If we ever have a major event where it overwhelms our resources, so say we have something with 25 patients, first thing I would do is I would call STRAC and say, hey, we're at this location, we have 25 patients, and what STRAC would do on their end is us as EMS leaders who the STRAC region, we're all in a group chat, so they would put out incident in Kinney County for such and such, and then people would start responding what resources they have available, and then they would start heading this way. So they're a good organization.
So the reporting that Commissioner Ward's referring to, the reporting that the fire department has to do for fire calls and so forth like that, this STRAC, this image deal
Should take care.
should satisfy that reporting.
Yes.
And then in reading this, it says like when EMS is called and fire and rescue is called as well, the EMS report would trump as one report for both agencies.
It should, yes.
Okay. And then in this contract, they're prorating it basically to say basically the months of June, July, and August for us, because it starts September 1st each year. Their billing cycles. So they're basically prorating it with an estimated annual runs in 2024 or 22 that they counted for off our, I guess what we provided them as an estimate. And then in the second year, they're estimating the runs to be at 30. So this has a $3,000 annual fee and then a per run cost of $3.18 for the second year. It's $309 this first year. The per cost run goes up 3% annually, according to them. So as far as budget wise this year, you're looking at be about $800 to finish the year on estimate. Okay, and then when we met in budget workshops the other day, Chief Garcia shared with us, and we put this in their budget at about $3,500. It's about 3,200 estimate on based off of like 30 calls, based off 30 calls, but like it wouldn't, like if the good in the deal is that they're not going to charge us 2 calls if both of y'all respond to the same instant. Even if if y'all are called first and y'all call EMS is called first, and y'all put a call out for the fire and rescue, your report would incorporate both of the reports to be used to satisfy the reporting that we have to turn in.
And the thing about image training too is it doesn't generate a report until you start it yourself. So that's something, me and Phil can sit down and come into a common agreement with, hey, like you mentioned, when we have a second call and we have to use one of them for a driver, there's not really any need for them to generate a report because we track it in our records. I said, we have a spot on our report that asks, was the variance used on this call? On that, phase we would hit yet. That data points collected that. So there's no need for him to generate a report and occur cost that way.
Did he leave? Did Philip leave?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, to finish up the year, it'd be basically June, July, and August. Because it starts over, a new year for them is September 1st. Okay, so we're talking, say about $1,000, less than $1,000. I believe the fire department has that currently, like in equipment or something. There's a little bit of money in budget. Next year, we did put a line in for like 3,500 in the fire department budget to help cover the expenses of this and so forth, for the fire and rescue. So in reading this and stuff, they do kind of have a prorated deal. I'm assuming they'll probably bill us after September 1st, after the end of the year for a total estimate. I don't know that for sure. It didn't say that in here.
Because I know for us, if we just get their yearly invoice.
And this doesn't have a, Brent's looked at it in the attorney's office as far as a rider on the front of it or nothing, but this is an annual deal, so there's no reason to have a rider on it because it would be annually renewed. It's not like a 3 or 5 year deal with automatic renewal or something. So Brent's office has looked at it and satisfied that in that term. So,
Philip's coming back, Rich.
yeah,
Philip's coming back.
okay. Let's quiz him.
Yeah.
But my big thing is if it satisfies y'all's reporting for the fire department, then through the fire department already has some iPads through hazard mitigation planning and so forth. They could just then go in and start a report and complete it or whatever, and then submit it, and that would be the record. We would have to go back through and like we did the first year I was here. I think we did about, I don't know, 22 or 23 months worth of reporting for the fire and rescue to get it back. Yeah, get it caught up and whatnot.
Would this take the place of the info reports? For fire and rescue?
Which one for?
The info?
Yeah, what we worked on in for?
NFIR.
I think that I'm not going to see there, because I've, like I said, I've said in on meeting, and I know in the fire side, they said it's all very important.
At the state level or federal?
I believe both.
Okay. This is the National Fire Incident Reporting System. That's what it
It
is.
should be. I'm sure it's just not, in fact, it's there.
Nationwide. And first is the name for national, the federal.
I mean, I can reach out to Lawrence, the guy at STRAC that does a lot of the imaging stuff, and I'll be able to get you an answer in the next day or two.
Watch this room.
It's taking his time.
He gets nervous.
You know, he's going to be on the hot sheet.
Yeah, he's nervous. Even at budget workshop, he's like, I'm nervous. I said, "No, we're just sitting here to talk about budget. I mean, it's nothing." I remember how he was. He might have left, turn around, come back.
No, here he comes.
Oh.
Come on up. Yeah. Just waiting on you.
Chief, you'll step up to the microphone. We got about 6 questions for you right quick.
I didn't even see that.
Now, one of the questions, Rick, is the STRAC going to satisfy your requirements for the NFIR reporting? Is it Are they gonna be able to extract what they need from your STRAC reporting and get it into this NFIR? Are they compatible enough to where we're not having to double dip to do things, to get things done? This will simply satisfy that as well.
Well, I haven't talked to Jordan about the whole, I believe that it does.
Okay.
It's supposed to, that way we don't have to go through all different channels to put all the information. It goes into one and they send it out to everybody it's supposed to go to.
And it looks like they're gonna prorate it for this year.
Yes.
And be a little less than $1,000. And I was telling you before, you kind of have that money in equipment, so we could use that money out of equipment to pay for this year. There is a line item in your budget for next year of about $3,500, I believe we talked about.
Yes.
To cover the cost of this and everything. We're just wanting, that was something, it was like, Nick was pretty comfortable in saying, yeah, he thought that would satisfy it because it's used around the country.
Right.
So he would think that, but we were just wanting to know, like, as far as like, man, we hate to like have it and it not be
And had to do something else.
satisfying that
Right.
again. We haven't-
From what I understand, it's supposed to cover it all. Everything that we need to send
I'll
it
reach
to.
out to them today. I should have an answer today or tomorrow. You know, how quick he can get back to me, but I'll ask him. Does it meet all the requirements for the state and national level?
And we're going to enter the interlocal for just the remainder of this year, which would basically be June, July, and August. It looks like they're going to prorate it for about 3 months for us in this deal. And the funds, like I said, we'll just extract, it's about $800,
Right.
more or less, off the estimates and stuff. We'll just extract, just use funds out of your equipment line for this year, but we did in planning for next year's budget in the workshop, we put in a line for this expense.
Great.
All right. Anything else for these two? I told him, I said, when you come in here, well, you come rattle your head.
Like I said, I imagine it does because for us and all our reporting requirements to the state and federal level, and its trend meets all those requirements. It wouldn't make sense to do it for EMS and then not do it for fire, but I'll get verification on that.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions with this regarding item E this morning? Motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Doxson. Again, the motion is to approve the interlocal agreement through STRAC to use what's it called?
Image trend.
Image trend for our fire and rescue department, which we are currently using through EMS. This would be a prorated agreement for this year. Their actual funding in fiscal year is September 1st to August 31st. So a little off from our budget year. So we'll enter into this local agreement with funds to be used this year out of the your equipment line with a new line added for next year's budget to cover the cost of this.
Great.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. All right, we'll work on getting this. I gotta sign a couple of places. But
Yes, I think he's just waiting on signatures from y'all or whatever, and then we'll go forward with talking about it.
all right. That'll take care of item E. And discuss and approve STRAC business associated agreement provisions. This has to deal with, Becky said, as far as medical records, I believe, correct, Becky?
Yes.
Just
Should be understanding of you.
speak up, speak up.
Say again?
It just states that they'll,
Store
yeah.
medical records, yeah.
Medical records and stuff, it's just. I guess.
So this is for the EMS. This is for fire.
Oh.
Fire.
They store all your records.
Oh, okay.
The business associate provides Kinney County Fire Department with electronic patient care record and management system or clinical registries or on behalf of covered entities. The connection to where services covered entity discloses to the business associate certain protected health information that is subject to protection under the HIPAA rules. The HIPAA rules require that covered entity receive adequate assurance that business associate will comply with certain obligations with respect to the PHI received in the course of providing services on behalf of covered entity. And so forth. That's what this one is. So I'll entertain a motion to approve it. So moved by Commissioner Dotson. Second by Commissioner Ward. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. All right. That should take care of that. All right.
10 inches of rain in southern Kinney County and northern.
Oof.
And then weather coming to sheriff's. Got along.
Oh, did it? Oh, that's good. There's- All right. Well, I have two more questions.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good. We're good. You can go.
All right, thank you.
We'll work on that. You might get an invoice.
I'll let you know.
So when we get it, we got the funds. We'll use your equipment line for this year. And then, like I said, we got a line for it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
All
it.
right. Thanks.
All right.
Be safe out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Item G this morning, discuss EMS personnel variances presented by Nick.
Basically, all this is a renewal of our variance that allows us to have the third person. So we've had it for the last several years. We just have to renew it every year with the state. So all that is this. And what the third person does is allow us to basically operate 2 ambulances instead of 1. So you have your primary crew, if they get a call, 2 people will go. 1 person will be left at the station, and if another call comes in, that third person will run the call with either one of Phil's guys from the fire department driving or a deputy.
Okay. Now, if there's 2 of you on duty, does the variance still apply that way?
No.
The
So
variance
you can't, variance is only when we have 3 people.
Okay.
So you can't break up the crew if there's only 2 people.
Okay. If there's just 2 of you, let's say you get to a car accident, there's 2 of us, and we get to a car accident and we need a second ambulance.
That's where we would call mutual aid. We either call it Del Rio or Uvalde.
Okay, we wouldn't call and send a firefighter to get in.
Unfortunately, the variance doesn't work that way.
Okay,
You have to have basically your primary crew, which are the 2 certified people.
okay.
And the variance allows that second ambulance to be operated
So
with.
the variance does not include volunteer firemen driving or.
No, they can drive us. But the first call has to be run with a fully certified.
Yes.
Yeah, so the second one, second call comes out. The third person that's certified will run it with either a volunteer fire department
Or
or
the
the deputy.
the sheriff's deputy.
Okay.
Okay, so the variance is only when we do have a 3-man crew, the variance applies. So
Yes.
if there's just a 2-man crew and then the second call comes.
We would have to call mutual aid and Uvalde or do.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything to sign.
All I need from y'all is that support letter. I forwarded it to Becky, the one you sent last year, so.
I just included because I included, well, it required a motion, you made a motion.
Okay. Appreciate that. Motion made by Commissioner Dotson, second by Commissioner Matavo. On item G, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried unanimously. All right, thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
All right, item H,
Good
Ms.
morning.
Moore.
Good morning, Judge
All right,
Commissioner.
item H is new volunteers and members to serve on the Kinney County Historical Commission. Be Pam Melanson, Joe Hidalgo, and Eric Martinez. Ms. Moore's here to present.
These three individuals approached about expressed interest to join our group. And on June the 26th, we had our historical commission meeting and we agreed to have them join us. So I'm here asking for your approval, your blessing on these three members or three individuals.
So move. Second.
Okay, motion to approve item H by Commissioner Montalvo, second by Commissioner Ward. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, you had to sit here through all that.
That's fine. I learned a lot. The other day when I met with y'all regarding the mini split, the battery on the remote wasn't working. That's why it just
Oh,
kept running.
good,
But I took care of it. It's turned off.
good. Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
The 1936 state stone we talked about that. We need to keep that front burner because Kinney County is nowhere to be found. And it would be nice to pursue that and have it placed on, I think, on the courthouse ground.
Okay.
And you know what they look like. If not, I got a picture of them.
We'll get together.
Okay. But it's a worthy thing because we're one of the few that doesn't countywide have the stone from that year.
Oh, okay.
And so anyway, just
Okay.
it'd be a nice little project. And they do have a, I'd say it's a 2 or by 3 foot of granite stone, and it has the state medallion on it with the year. And many asked about it. Some thought that it had been placed in River Park, but no place to be found. Then some thought out at Pinto in the roadside park. And no one can remember. So it's missing. So
Well, I had a question regarding that thing that has tile by the fire department. I recall Judge Sargent told me that was placed in that park at Father's Table the year that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. What's the significance of that thing? I see that.
of the fountain.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it was in that triangle there. It's and it had fallen into some project repair years ago. And they wanted to get to the volunteer fire department. And so we moved it over there. And plans are to place a statue of some kind, either a fireman statue or maybe something else. And but to utilize it. The interesting thing about that was it was built by a local artisan. And that is Henry Garcia's father. He was a real good mason. And all that tile work is beautiful on it. But that's the story behind it.
Well, the work was done well then because it's still intact.
Yeah.
Well, it looks nice there and maybe tucked into between all those palm trees.
Yes.
That would be
We plan to enhance it, probably raise it up a little higher. But we took the offer. It was a gift from the Simmons family. Yeah, very nice. And a nice history behind it too.
Well, recently I helped Girls Board with their reunion, 60s classes. And that was a great experience to hear the stories and oh my gosh, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
But you need to clarify, you didn't come along to the 80s, you were just helping them.
I was just helping. No, a few people at Candy Bader asked me, Becky, did you graduate with us? And I looked at her, I went to say, I look like I graduated. No,
20 years later.
yes, it was a lot of fun. But anyhow, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. All right. Um, we do have some executive items to discuss regarding personnel and a consultation with the attorney. Item 5 this morning is approve and disapprove Kinney Commissioners' previous minutes from June 23rd. You have those present this morning. Item C on the agenda or the minutes. Let's just reiterate that that was the school's decision to terminate that interlocal agreement for next year with the county and the sheriff's office. But the sheriff's office will still plan on providing 2 deputies during the day to patrol and work around the school, just as we have in the past. So,
But the school not gonna pay for it.
no, and before they paid for like half of an officer yesterday, but they've notified us that they didn't want to continue that local.
Are we generating revenues from the license fee on the crossing guards? Is that a
Yes.
lot to what we're talking about?
No,
Where's that money going?
that money we bought those cones and those crossing deals and stuff. That's what we used that money for last year.
Doesn't actually go to personnel.
No, sure.
I was trying to figure a way to.
We took the money that Martha had collected off that, it's like $1 or something.
Yeah.
Every time you renew or something, and just bought them orange cones and those deals and put in the road where the crossings are, And then, of course, they did a study to look at closing the street completely there in front of the accident. What's that street? Yeah, pulled it from one end.
Old hospital.
Yes, sir. They did a little survey deal about 2 months ago, maybe, about possible, do a survey to see about closing on it.
And past that yet.
No, I don't think so. No, sir.
I think that was more noise.
That was,
I did.
uh,
I think the focus.
because they own all of it almost except the last house in the end. That's about across from the band. Thanks for getting these to us, man. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented. So moved by Commissioner Tavo. Second by Commissioner Doxson. Any other comments regarding the minutes? All those in favor of the motion say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Item 6, I'm sorry, disbursements out to Kinney County Detention Center. We have none this morning. Item 7, approve the claims and bills, including payroll for Kinney County budget 2024, 2025. Have those in front of you this morning. The Vega payment that's on here is at West El Paso's closeout or their final payment to,
Yes,
okay. And then, I don't know if it's on here or not, but there's
there should be another one for, Mr. Powell.
his is on here.
Okay, thank you.
Kinney County is under the mutilation.
It's 2 months. Two months, I believe. Got I think there's 5 in there that are waiting to go to TDC. And then there's 9, I believe, that are locals. And then there was some warrants that were picked up that the TDC wouldn't take, the OLS. And they're looking to resolve that issue. And then, like, if it's all OLS related cases, looks like the what's the name of the processing tent? Who's doing that contract? Yeah, over there in Denver, that they would have a facility because TDC is talking about no longer doing away with the TDC facilities for OLS arrest. And if we get the failure stuff here and our PRs and stuff and everything, those warrants, that we would still be able to get them and take them, and they would hold them the process and hold them there in Del Rio. So that's being worked out. That hasn't happened yet. That's being worked out. So we've kind of been put on hold as far as getting warrants that have been activated, and then people have been picked up. We don't have anywhere to put them unless it's a true cost to us. Now we're trying to keep these costs separated to where they would get reimbursed, hopefully, for those that are OLS related, either a trespasser charge or human smuggling charge. They're out of bonds, or bonded out, had PR bonds and stuff, and now they have warrants and failure still here.
So this 50,000 potentially, OLS might cover something.
Maybe, yes, sir.
Maybe,
Yeah,
no, sure,
yeah. Be as pull out those that are OLS related.
Yeah.
Those cases and say, hey, here's what the expenses we had in this quagmire we were in the last couple of months saying. But talking about Valverde County would basically be the pass-through for the OLS funding for the housing of those prisoners, those folks. And then we would submit our payment to Valverde, and then they would be the pass-through. They would manage the funds as far as getting payments and so forth from the state.
That was the meeting held a few weeks ago about that. So,
Yes.
well, a friend of ours there. Something going on, but
On here. It came out of the wrong one. You see that, Becky? Page 5. Staff billing. That's eRMS. They got direct TV. Should be medical.
Pretty hot topics.
Or yeah,
Same thing, sunrise, different people.
I had a typo on the check that they sent.
Pretty cheap.
We're good. Yeah, I don't see if there was an email that went to Miss Cheryl the other day, from Mr. Waterman, the contractor. Uh, I read the bill as we owed them the 33,000 or whatever, but that's what's not going to get paid. So we sent them a check for 33,000. We actually owed them like 51,000. I read it wrong, and I just put on there, okay, we owe balance due or balance owed or whatever. It said 33,000, whatever. But that's the holdout amount of the things they didn't do. We agreed that they just didn't do the holdout money. And we sent them a check for that. And I need to follow up and see if we've already sent them. We owe them a balance of like 15 or 16,000. I can't remember for sure, but it was a difference. There was the difference of what we actually owed them and what we actually paid. And I don't know if she's followed up with that. I don't see it on here, so I don't know if yeah, I did. It was on me. The way that thing's presented, it has all. It says here's what they were entitled. They wanted like 51,000 and said balance remaining or something, 33,000, whatever. Well, I think that's what we owe them. That, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I need to follow up on that. We need to settle.
Finish.
So we got to finish it,
A
settle
lot of
up.
compliments.
Yeah. All right, I entertain a motion to approve the bills as presented. So moved by Commissioner Matavo. Second by Commissioner Dotson. Any further discussion on the item 7? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Noting that Commissioner Dotson abstained from his payment and Commissioner Ward abstained from his payment.
She hadn't been here a year, in fact, it was some.
Yeah. All right. Other items containing county business this morning. What's the rain report looking like there, Richard?
Still showing at least 4%. Chief meteorologist told me about an hour ago. Text dot goes down to 1908, 1572, March 334. 90 was kind of close, but it's died down a bit out there that was gone. We've already got finished about the inch of the rain down south, pretty high. It's going to increase a bit. That weather should start traveling out toward Uvalde a little bit further on.
They closed 334 yet?
Yeah, but there's anything probably past Kilos Road is a hazard. I went try to cross up those locations because there's been a lot of that rainwater coming from northeast that where the clouds are currently at, and it's channeling down. Earlier, it was reported on the radio that the Nueces wasn't blowing as much, but that accumulation is starting to make its way down. So just be careful where you go. Be vigilant too. There's
90
out there.
Brad sent a text, the sheriff sent a text. 90 East, 334, 1908, 131, and 1572 are closed. All right, I have a meeting tomorrow evening in Hondo. I've been asked to sit on a committee over there for flood control, flood stuff. Judge Luce has asked, he's having a meeting over there because for a special agenda, special session starts the next Monday, obviously the 21st in Austin. And I believe 4 of the 18 items on the agenda had to do with flooding and warning systems and so forth and that stuff. But Judge Luce texted me over the weekend, said they were holding a meeting in Medina County and asked if I would come and join in the discussion there. So I'll run over there tomorrow evening for that. Got a couple items to discuss in the executive session this morning. What else do I have this week? Do I have anything that you know of? Remember? Yeah, right quick. Personnel matters. Talking with the attorney. Okay. So we'll get out of here and I'll start doing a little road work, looking, trying to keep everybody informed. But main thing is it comes up, it goes down pretty fast. Just be patient. Be patient. If you can't see the bottom of it, don't drive across it.
And on top of everything I poured in, has been put in it.
Okay. All right. Anything else this morning from the commissioners? All right. We'll take just a short break, about 5 minutes, right quick. We're going to executive session. Item I and item J on the agenda this morning, personnel matters in consultation with the attorney. So we'll visit right quick about that.
Can we have a public hearing this evening?
Oh, public hearing, but we can adjourn. But the public hearing is public hearing for West El Paso closure hearing at 6 o'clock here at the courthouse. Okay. So public hearing, yeah, we're going to adjourn. We'll adjourn our meeting. We don't have to go into recess, but we will have a public hearing as part of their grant requirements.
It's a closeout for the grant.
Close out for West El Paso.
Yes.
6 o'clock.
It's a required meeting.
6 o'clock.
Another question I had about, and I'm certainly, I want to know, I think it's worthy of the Nueces. But we're in what I would describe, and I'll make it brief, in a kind of a catch-22 because the majority of our population lays in the river. And what I don't want to see happen, and us not be cognizant of the fact that we may have to pay a large sum to have the western part.
That's right.
Describe plan.
Right.
And I that's why I pose the question is, because I hate for us to be hit by another entity, which I guess Rio Grande.
Lower.
Region 15.
Region 15.
And if they want 160,000, then all of a sudden we're looking at 320
Right.
to, basically have a plan. So I don't know, is there any development towards, not yet?
We haven't heard. We emailed them last week.
Right.
Haven't heard back. Maybe this week they'll reply.
And they did tell us that they were not planning on doing anything right now as far as and stuff goes. Yes. But
Because maybe.
lots of things have happened since they told us that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, special session, it looks like there will be more funding probably for flood. kind of
They'll
thing.
push.
The mapping stuff is gonna be, it is the way of the future. And, like, we've had to put a hazard mitigation plan in place. Well, they're gonna start requiring this mapping as well. That's coming. It's
For
just,
grants.
it's just gonna be the way it is. And like Travis was saying, what Kinney County currently has is paper. That's it. I mean,
Wisdom, knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Sending somebody out to look at a crossing. It's, you can't visualize it any other way. And so making this available, for the future is gonna be terrible, getting funding, I think.
And that could be on GIS.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll take a break and,
We'll see y'all this evening.
yes, ma'am. Thanks for reminding me.
Your vision of red, I'm a streak of green. Get 'em go and move through you.
Run.